Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the very first episode of the Spark Moment podcast. Crazy to say, it's been a long time coming. I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot that you guys are here starting this journey with me. I really do appreciate it. For you guys that don't know me, my name is Devin. I go by Dev. I'm a writer, photographer, filmmaker, and now a barber in training. So as you can probably tell, I wear a lot of different hats, but one thing that's consistent with me is I'm a creative, kind of always have been, and I love it. Like I said, I wear a lot of different hats, I do a lot of different things, and I'll kind of start off um, with my own spark moment for this podcast. So the spark moment is that moment where everything changed for you. So that moment, whether it was, a lyric that made you pick up a pen, whether it was, somebody telling you, hey, you're pretty good at that, whatever it was that sparked or that passion to follow your creative journey, that is the spark moment where everything just kind of clicked for you. And this podcast is really about bringing on other creatives to share their spark moment and talk about the lessons that they're learning on their journey as well. Because like I said, I do a lot of different things. I've been doing, writing, film, photography for a while now. And during my creative journey, there's been times where I've had to deal with, different things as far as imposter syndrome, feeling alone, feeling like a failure, just dealing with all these different things. And it can be, real lonely at times because you don't really hear a lot of people talk about these different problems that much. So in my journey, I've definitely had, a lot of good things happen, but there's also, those times where I'm maybe not feeling motivated or feeling afraid, feeling scared, doubting myself and stuff like that. I kind of wanted to build a space where people can relate and people can talk about these things just to show, that we all go through the same things. There's nothing to be, ashamed about. There's nothing to be scared about when it comes to these things. Bringing some insight on these, specific topics and stuff like that, it can also help somebody else that's going through those things. You know what I mean? I've definitely, overcame a lot of hurdles on my journey. There's people out there that will go through the same things and, maybe they're afraid to talk about it. But if they hear somebody talking about it and they hear about somebody, how they overcame it, maybe it can help them in their journey. Um, and also with that, I want to, inspire people to as well, inspire people to, start for them to find their spark moment, or maybe they're, years in the game or whatever the case is. Maybe this can reignite that spark that maybe they lost. So that's really why I started, this podcast. My kind of hopes for this is to build that community where, people can come and talk about these things. People can come educate each other. We can inspire each other. We can work with each other, dealing with these different things, as well as, just trying to help everybody be, the best that they can be. I don't have, a background in podcasting. This is actually the very first podcast I've ever done. Scared as hell, I'm not gonna lie. But, this was something that was a long time in the works. And this was something that was on my mind for a long time. I'd say about a year and a half before I even really started it. But it was just something that just wouldn't go away. So, and I'm a firm believer in saying and thinking that if something is constantly on your mind, if something's constantly on your heart, that I believe that that's God telling you to do it, and so I am. So here we are, the Spark Moment podcast. Yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm still unsure. I mean, I hope people will rock with it. We'll see. But my biggest thing is to just try to, just connect. I hope that I can connect with people with this podcast. I hope that people can hear these stories and it helps them in any type of way. This is the first season. We'll have some guests come on every week. I'll throw in some solo episodes in there as well, just kind of share my insight on certain topics, share my experiences on certain topics as well. But for the most part, this first season is just kind of laying the foundation down and really building, the heart of what this is. These are real people, real stories. We don't sugarcoat anything. We're not talking about the highlight reels, the, biggest artists that you worked with or brands or whatever the case is. But these are real stories about people overcoming, trials, tribulations, and stuff like that. And, I don't want it to sound like it's, just all Debbie Downer stuff. Is this definitely not, we'll definitely share, the wins as well. Like I said, first episode, I'm scared. I hope you guys are rocking with this. Another thing is I hope to one day, be able to maybe do some, events as well. I'm just kind of building up that community so that we can get to a point like that. But those are kind of my hopes for this. Each week a new guest will come on. They'll share their spark moment as well as the lessons they learned on their journey. I'll have some solo episodes. This episode is going to be a little short just because, it's the first episode. Just kind of wanted to introduce myself, introduce, the pod, what to expect and stuff like that. So this is going to be, a little short. The other episodes with guest episodes will be much longer. I hope you guys are rocking with this podcast. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Spark Moment podcast. If this episode inspired you, make sure to follow the show so you don't miss a single spark. I'd love to hear what your spark moment was. You can share it with me on Instagram at the Spark Moment Podcast or tag the show in your stories. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please leave a rating and review. It really helps more people discover these stories. Until next time, keep chasing that spark.